Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? There are reports that the Saints could pursue Xavien Howard. Now, Xavien Howard is with the Miami Dolphins. He's 28 years old. And in the past in two of the last three seasons, he's led the NFL in interceptions. He had 10 picks last year, which led the NFL. He had 7 picks in 2018, which led the NFL. So you're talking about a guy that is a legitimate number one starter out wide at boundary corner in the NFL. And when you look at the Saints situation, it's pretty obvious what they need. You got Marshawn Lattimore. Janoris Jenkins is no longer with you. You've got P.J. Williams. You've got Patrick Robinson. You've got a rookie in Paulson Adebo. You need a starter. You need a no-doubt starter, and you don't have that right now. So could Xavien Howard be an option? That's kind of the conversation that's being had right now. And the Saints have undeniably been pushing. We've talked about Richard Sherman. They brought in Dre Kirkpatrick. They were very aggressive on draft night, trying to move up to take either J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. The Saints have been very actively trying to add a premier cornerback to this roster because they know they need it. So now you hear Xavien Howard, not happy in Miami, wants to be traded. Could they make something happen? I don't think there's any doubt that if he fits the culture of the Saints, which is something we always talk about, Sean Payton puts a premium on that, on having the right guys in the locker room. If he checks that box, athletically, certainly you love the guy. The question is, what would it cost? Now, it's worth noting that Howard, his base salary for this year is just north of $12 million. So the Saints could afford it. And certainly, if you brought him on, you'd extend him. You'd sign him to a long-term deal and maybe even reduce that cap number this year. But certainly they could afford it. The question is, what are you willing to give up to get him? How desperate are you? Well, Mike Silver of the NFL Network tweeted, here he noted that it's a mini thread. Mike Silver, formerly of SI, he tweeted. I'm sorry, he's with he's with the NFL Network. Forgive me. He said there's a lot of trade chatter concerning Dolphins All-Pro cornerback Xavien Howard, who led the NFL with 10 interceptions in 2020 and is unhappy with his contract. He went on in this thread. Howard, who signed a 5-year, $75.25 million extension 2 years ago, wants a new and improved deal in the wake of his stellar 2020 season. He's not likely to get it from Miami. It would take at least a first-round pick plus the willingness to pay up to land him. He goes on, there are several teams all in win-now mode pondering such a move. If no one steps up to meet Miami's price, Howard, who skipped the offseason program, could try to force the issue by holding out of training camp. He could be fined $50,000 a day in that scenario. Stay tuned. Again, Mike Silver of the NFL Network saying that Xavien Howard wants out of Miami, wants a new deal, not happy with his deal after his blow-up season in 2020 with 10 interceptions, wants a new deal. Miami's not likely to give it to him. A trade would cost likely a first-round pick and potentially more, and certainly the willingness to pay that type of money on a new deal. Now, obviously, New Orleans has to make a decision if they're going to pay Marshawn Lattimore. They're clearly not going to do that right now. Might they make the decision to do that after this season? That's something that remains to be seen depending on the type of season that Marshawn Lattimore has. But if you bring on a Xavien Howard, then you at least have an option. You have Lattimore, you have Howard. You have 2 premier cornerbacks for this year. Next year, if you pay Lattimore, and I don't know that you could pay both of them, but you'd continue there, or you'd at least hedge to where then you have Xavien Howard and whoever's next. If it's Paulson Adebo, if you go veteran free agency, whatever it may be. Effectively, if you're the Saints, you have to decide, is it worth giving up a first-round pick to bring in Xavien Howard as a hedge against Marshawn Lattimore? And if you have them both, you have a dominant cornerback tandem. It may be the most dominant cornerback tandem in the NFL. A lot of people will balk at the idea of a first-round pick. I'm not one of them. And the reason is because I think we all get so enamored with the draft, and we love the possibilities that exist associated with the draft. But again, those are possibilities. What sometimes happens in the draft is you land Stephon Anthony in the first round, or you land Andrus Peat, or you land Sheldon Rankins, or you land Marcus Davenport, or Cesar Ruiz. Now, you can also land Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, who have become total studs, but you're still banking on a what if. When you're talking about a guy like Xavien Howard, who is proven, he is proven to be one of the best cover cornerbacks in the NFL, would you give up a first-round pick, a maybe, for something that is a given? And my answer is yes, especially if you really believe you are in win-now mode, which I think the Saints are. Drew Brees is gone, but you still have the core in place to be one of the best rosters in the NFL. If you get competent quarterback play, you certainly should be a playoff team, and you'll be in the mix in the postseason, hopefully to make a run at winning a championship. But in this division, where you're talking about Tom Brady and all those weapons, you're talking about Matt Ryan and those weapons, where they just add Kyle Pitts, and now you throw the wild card with Sam Darnold going to Carolina with Joe Brady running that offense and a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and they just added Terrace Marshall, who might be the fourth receiver on that team. Please give me another lockdown cover cornerback. Absolutely. And if I got to give up a first-round pick to get him, I'll do it in a heartbeat because of what that means in the NFL today. The most important positions in the NFL, of course, are quarterback, and then the guys that affect the quarterback, meaning edge rushers and cornerbacks. And Xavien Howard's an elite one. If you can get him for a first-round pick, I do it in a heartbeat. Stay tuned. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.